Greetings, my name is William Colmenares. I'm a ninth semester student on the Bachelor of Arts program in Foreign Languages at the University of Pamplona. And today, with my classmates of the project-based learning course, we are going to show you the project that we are working on during this period 21. For this presentation, we have divided into the following sections to present the project. Next slide, please. The sections are introduction, justification, objectives, limitations, theoretical background, literature review, methodology, calendar, and references. Having said that, I would like to start with the introduction. As researchers and future teachers of foreign languages, we are aware that culture is an important part of any society, since this is what gives them this unique touch, what makes them special, unique. Preserving culture is one of the most important tasks that human beings have to preserve our legacy as human beings. We have decided to focus on the culture English-speaking countries, as there are many countries and the cultures they have are very rich and different. Now, in the slide, please. In the justification, this is why with this project, we want or we seek to give the students or the participants the opportunity to expand their knowledge about the different Anglophone cultures around the world and reinforce their previous knowledge. Also, we understand that not all people have the same level of learning and that each one has their own process to do it. Therefore, this project will have audiovisual materials, exams about we are going to explain, and spaces where the participants can share and express their ideas. So the speaking, linguistic components can be worked on. Our job material will be based on a series of videos and surveys carried out in the application Instagram. So the students with a connection to internet with a computer and a smartphone can interact and participate. Regarding the objectives, we have a general objective, which is to teach Anglophone culture through audiovisual materials as a didactic learning resource and as an educational tool to expand the information. As a specific objectives, we have to transmit new knowledge through the use of technology while managing to reinforce previous knowledge, to inform about the different Anglophone cultures that exist around the world, and to create a complementary tool that manages to interest the participants to learn independently or in an autonomous way.
Okay, according to the limitation, we have to take into account three main aspects. Which first, the first one is based on the cultural development of proposed activities. Why? Because as we concern, this virtual environment has affected everybody. So the education about this cultural project is going to be affected by the low participation of from participants, right? So we take into account as well that this new environment could or may affect our development because it could be taking participants' time, participants' availability to be part of this assessment and to be part of this emission of these activities. Regarding that, another we take into account that culture is very interesting topic to present to foreign language students. In this case, we realize that even learning culture is going to be affected by interest people, interest people because of the lack of knowledge or because the lack of time. Regarding to the theoretical framework, we have divided three main aspects in which we are going to focus on this time. The first one we can see ICTs. Well, it means information and communication technologies. As we concern, they are means of communication that include internet connectivity. So these kind of tools, such as computers, cell phones, tablets, and those kind of different softwares, are used are used to save, manipulate, or transmit the information from a digital way. And what kind of information are we going to share today? Well, Anglophone culture. What is Anglophone culture? As we can see, a culture foreign to their own through the use of English as foreign languages. So sometimes it becomes a challenge since students are a little unaware of their own culture. We are talking about Colombia culture, and in this case, we are going to try to be focused on foreign culture. This taking into account the teaching and learning process, of course. Why? Because as many for the purposes, because for our purposes, it's going to take a, a, a period of time in which we're going to focus on some abilities. In this case, we're going to focus on cultural abilities like speaking or listening.
Now we base our literature review in four different authors that were going through the topic, and those were Kartipi and Gilmas 2018, Ryan 1997, is Scholz 2019, Crusher 1999, and Baram in 1997. Um, Basically, they explain us that what is foreign language learner face when trying to learn a foreign language. In this case, they are going to face two things. Those things are practically linguistics aspects or cultural aspects. When regarding to linguistics aspects, we talk about most of the time teachers try to implement like grammar, vocabulary, and in some cases pronunciation to their classes, and that's what is often taught for students. Then we have culture that is not likely to be included, or most of the time teachers try or not to try. They put culture aside because this has become a paradigm. They don't know how to teach culture in a proper way, so they decide just to put that aspect apart. So we could say that language and culture involves all relating about language, right? But they are considered like separate domains. So they could be included that some teachers could have problems trying to implement a culture in different, could say different programs or in the curriculum, different programs. So different authors, especially Crusher, has said that cultural understanding cannot be set apart, and that the language of learning, I mean, in this case, culture cannot be taught or language cannot be taught in isolation. They could be together because one of the objectives of the students when trying to learn a foreign language is to try to perform in foreign settings. In this case, they want to learn different ways to express, different what kind of food, different traditions, certain cities, behaviors, formal, informal settings, expressions, humor. There are a lot of things which involves culture, and when trying to learn a foreign language, they need to learn those things. They cannot try to learn for example, in this case, English language, and to try to use it in the same spaces like Spanish language. They need to use that language to address for new foreign language environments. And even though if there are a lot of research based on this topic or in this domain, we could say that culture hasn't increased or hasn't become an important component of curriculums in all different programs for English as a foreign language and English as a second language.
Well, now concerning this last section, I'm gonna present to you the methods that we use in this project. The first one is the project-based learning. The activities we are going to develop during the application of this pedagogical proposal. So here we go with the first. And to get started with the project-based learning, it is an widespread approach in the educational field that facilitates the process of gaining information and skills, but implementing problem resolution, um, but implementing problem resolution, and its students have the possibility to create new knowledge or maybe to reinforce the existing knowledge, the existing language, and in views or referring to the views of Blumenfeld, Fishman, Krajicek, Marx, Salovey, and Copeland, students need the opportunity to construct their own knowledge and to develop 21st century skills such as critical thinking, collaborative working, team working, communicative competence, but above language acquisition and the opportunity and the chance that we have in this project um, to work on culture concerning PBL encourages a more profound impact on the students' learning process since they have the possibility, or maybe since um, they can display their creative sense with the purpose to learn in different ways, trying to improve or trying to get better in matters of their target language skills and their general knowledge of the Anglophone culture. And on the other hand, we have the approach and the development or the application of this proposition entails the inclusion entails the integration of the communicative approach, since this one intends to promote foreign language teaching in a particular and in a different sociocultural context where the students have the opportunity or have the possibility to learn not only the linguistic components but also the cultural components of the language they are learning or the language they get into. And the population we focused on refers to the students with an intermediate or a advanced level, because or since they have the option to manage with a accurate communicational process, and they can communicate an accurate message with other people or many with other English speakers. So that is the main population that we want to work with. And now we can continue with the next one, which the next section, the activity. So please, the next slide. Uh, okay, thank you. And right here we can see the timetable and all the activities we prepared related to eight Anglophone countries or eight English speaking countries. And we organize this section according to 10 weeks of work. And we are going to emphasize, we are going to analyze different countries such as United States, Ghana, Australia, generally speaking, countries all around the world, and that we can create and maybe they can support the perspective that we want to work on, or the perspective we want to work on during the implementation and application of this pedagogy proposal. And that's it. Thank you so much for your attention. And at the end, we can see the references that we used, or the references we take advantage of with the purpose to creating this pedagogical proposition or this pedagogical proposal. So that's it all for today. Thanks for watching, and thank you so much.